Good morning, good morning. It is the morning of day 28. Woohoo! We hit the benchmark, the check mark, whatever you want to call it. For those of us who have been doing burpees in September and grit in October, we are at check mark 2. I guess I shouldn't say that it's done yet because I haven't done my run this morning, but I am headed to the track as is custom on Thursday. If Scott Mendel watches this, he's going to think this is sacrilege, but I did not stay up to watch the last couple innings of the World Series last night. After the Nationals went up 5-2, I turned it off. Not that I didn't have faith that the Astros were going to come back or could come back, but I decided that it wasn't worth it to me to stay up to find out. So I went ahead and hit the snooze and had a really good night's rest last night, so I'm feeling pretty good about this morning. Fitting though that day 28 is going to be the grittiest of all. Checked my phone this morning when I got up, and it says that it feels like 30 degrees out right now, which I know for you northerners is nothing, but for those of us who live in the south, that is pretty damn cold. So I've got on just about everything I could possibly get on this morning and still maintain the integrity of an actual running form. So it's going to be a cold one, but I'm going to knock it out, and then I'm going to head off to boot camp and get this marathon of Thursday morning fitness off on the right foot. So I know, as a quote-unquote paragon of grit, that I'm supposed to talk about how awesome that was, how alive I felt, how much I embraced the suck. I don't feel any of that shit. That sucked. That was miserable. I'm not gonna lie. I think that might have been the longest 22 minutes of this entire challenge for me. My fingers are frozen. My feet are frozen. My body is hot, wet, and cold. The last couple of laps, I started to feel claustrophobic with as much stuff as I have on. So yeah, that was not fun at all. So much so that I tacked on an extra lap. Rather than going 20 minutes, I went 22 because the first couple of laps, my lesser self was chirping about how much he didn't want to be out here and how much we needed to cut it short and go back to the car. And I told him, if you keep bitching, I'm gonna add an extra lap every time you say something. So that shut him up pretty quick. But as a penalty for the bitching that he did on the first round, I tacked on an extra one. So today we went 22 minutes, a little over 2 3/4 miles. Surprisingly enough, even given the cold and how much my body was rebelling against me, I finished with the same exact mile pace today of 7 minutes and 57 seconds. So I guess that means that I'm getting stronger mentally, I'm getting stronger physically. And like I said yesterday, I'm learning how to transcend the conditions. And when you do that, you can still give your own elite level performance no matter what's going on outside of you. So I'm headed to boot camp now. I got about 10 minutes to thaw out. Thankfully, that is indoors. So I'm going to derobe here, go get after it, and I'll be back later for the dead hangs. All right, team, we just pulled up to the park for the final finisher of October Grit 2019. I just finished doing a bunch of overhead presses, a bunch of dumbbell rows, a bunch of push-ups, and a bunch of burpees, including weighted burpees. So this is gonna be fun, this bar hang. On top of that, the temperature has actually dropped since the last time I spoke with you. It's now below freezing, and I'm not even sure what that means with the wind chill. It's almost like the universe has conspired against me on day 28, throwing every single curveball they possibly can and saying, let's see what you got, kid. See if you can hit. Last week, I put the timer in front of me so I could glance down and look and see where I was. And let me tell you, watching every single second tick off the clock while you're hanging from a bar, it is torture. So this week, I am not gonna do that. I'm just gonna hang on as long and as furiously as I can.
This bar is likely to be super, super duper cold, so there's a good shot I might actually become part of the 100+ burpee club today, but we'll just have to see how it goes. All right, not nearly as bad as I anticipated, actually. The first time up, I was able to get 2 minutes. I think at one point my fingers and my forearms actually went completely numb, which probably helped the cause. And then I got a minute, and then I got 30 seconds, and then whatever was left there at the end. So only 30 penalty burpees. I finished the remainder of my 100 or so burpees after I was done, since I'd already done a bunch of those at boot camp earlier today. But that's a wrap, guys. We have officially hit the grit benchmark for October 2019. Congratulations for everyone who's been on the journey with me. You know, today's Story Athlete principle is my end game is true fans. And I know for me, my end game is to make sure that I milk every last ounce of potential out of my body, out of my mind, out of my spirit. And so that's why I'm on this journey. But along the way, I am documenting it for a reason. There's been many times in this 28 days where my lesser self has asked the question, you know, why are you putting so much time into these videos? Why are you putting so much time into writing the context and participating and doing all this stuff? Because it is a major time commitment. But the reason I'm doing it is not because I know that it's going to lead to short-term gains. It's because I know that 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I'm going to look back on this and be very appreciative that I took the time to document the journey, to narrate the journey, to show the progress. When we go out there and tackle that Spartan trifecta next year, and we're standing victorious at the end of that beast, at the end of that 13-mile race, you know, it's going to feel fantastic, but I'm going to be able to look back over each and individual one of these days of grit and know that I put in the work and know that I earned that trifecta. You know, it actually gives me kind of chills to think about right now, even though it's 30 degrees outside and I'm in my car. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about the fact that, you know, someday this 1% journey is going to pay off. I'm not sure when it is. I'm not sure when those true fans are going to come to the surface. It's not about that today, but it is about that in the long run. And I'm just grateful to be on this journey with you guys. So that's a wrap. I will be back in a couple of days. I guess Monday. Today's Thursday, Halloween. I'll be back on Monday to kick off November Grit Challenge. So see you guys then.